The plan at Satsop was to power the future. But like many of the plans we make in this life, they don't happen. There are a myriad of reasons that this plan didn't work. It was insane. There were billions of dollars spent, countless money, hundreds, thousands of workers. And this power plant never powered a single house. I could tell you countless stories of plans that just went completely sideways. And I'm not talking about, minor goals or desires. I'm talking about safety, housing, the ability to put a roof over my head, the ability to feed myself. And some plans, despite your best efforts, utterly fail. Just over a year ago, I found myself in a really bad spot. I had spent 5 years patiently and slowly, methodically working towards a goal of being safer and safer when it came to my housing. I look forward to exploring this in a future video, but I essentially went from homeless to buying my first house in just under 5 years. No gimmicks, no hacks, just methodical hard work of leveling up. So I buy this house, and it's not anything fancy. It was the only house in Western Washington I could afford. It was built 125 years ago. It's a small one-bedroom house, but it was going to be mine, and I was going to be safe. I wasn't going to be kicked out of where I was living because I couldn't afford the rent. I wasn't in a situation where I had roommates or a landlord. I was just going to have to pay the mortgage, and everything would be okay. And just after buying it, not even a month after buying it, it looked like I was going to lose my job. This wasn't the first time that a situation had gone completely foobar on me. And so unfortunately, I had some experience in what to do. Now, historically, when something like this would happen to me, I would completely spiral. And in that spiral, every other bad thought, every other thing that wasn't working out would come down on me. So I decided to skip that. And that sounds so easy, and yet it's so difficult. And I can't tell you why I was able to do that. But I knew that I deserved to not freak out. I just knew that I deserved to not feel all those horrible things. And I'm not saying that there weren't quiet moments in the still of night where those thoughts didn't creep in. That would be a lie. But I just chose to believe, hey, Patrick, you have been through some incredibly hard things in this life. More than I can count, truly. This isn't the one that sinks you. We're going to work the problem. So I thought to myself, oh, the gas station down the street is hiring. This place is hiring. I could always, Uber or Lyft or deliver pizzas. And I thought to myself, it will probably take 2 or 3 of those jobs just to pay the mortgage. I'll be able to eat from the food bank. Maybe I'll be able to get some financial assistance for my utilities. And that will just be my existence until I find a way out of it. And I think coming up with this emergency plan of sorts that I knew that I could definitely pull off, maybe that's what gave me the peace. And of course I was applying for jobs furiously. And it was so strange. It was so bizarre. I just had this calm in me. I just had this peace that I had never experienced. I just thought to myself, it's going to be okay. Let me put that into the world. Let me try to, and I don't really subscribe to a lot of this, but I'm like, let me try to manifest that just by my attitude, just by my outlook. And I am not a fan of toxic positivity. I am not a fan of, I don't think I can manifest things. I don't have any special powers. That would be really cool if I did. I'd make some different choices. But I just thought to myself, what if we can skip it? I didn't want to go through that 3-ring circus in my head again. And so I did something that I had never done, hadn't heard about from a therapist, hadn't read about. I just decided, what if I skip the 3-ring circus? What if I skip the madness and the anxiety and all of the horrible feelings of being in crisis mode and just got about to working the problem and try to stay positive despite the fact that things were looking very bleak. I mean, I'm talking about having lived on the street to renting a room, to renting a studio, to renting an apartment, to renting a house, to going back to an apartment, living as frugally as I possibly could for over a year to buy a bare bones house. So much work, so much discipline, all of those efforts gone. This was never supposed to be the plan. But here I am. This is the one time I didn't panic. I didn't rapidly spiral and circle the drain. I just sat with it, and the ground beneath me held. Sometimes the plan just fails, and that doesn't mean that you have to. Let yourself grieve the loss of that. Give yourself that time, and then you can get about to working the problem. I applied for this job that I didn't think I stood a snowball's chance in hell of getting. And I thought to myself, this would be really good practice. It would be a $17,000 raise over what I was making. It would change my life. And I read through the qualifications, and I thought, I'm so stinking close. Will they see enough in me to give me a chance? I went into the interview. I was so scared. I had spent a ton of money on costume makeup to cover up my tattoos because I didn't want that to be the reason. I had applied for another job and went through the second interview. There were 2 positions. I thought I was a shoo-in, and they completely ghosted me. No email, no nothing. So I go into this job interview, and I remember pulling up to the building and thinking, this will at least be good practice. And I get in there, and I think that I'm doing really well. And I'm not talking like Dunning-Kruger effect. And if you're not familiar with the Dunning-Kruger effect, a quick explanation is the people that think they've done really well in a job interview or have nailed a test typically have done horribly. And the people that think, oh gosh, I don't know, I could have done this better, I could have done that better, they're the ones that typically pass the tests or get the job. And so I get in my head about that and that little fun meta loop of the Dunning-Kruger effect. But I think that I was me. I was me in the interview. And it was like a ton, like 5 or 6 people, and there's a desk further back set in the room. And I walk in, and of course I'm me, so I've got to crack a joke right away. I'm like, well, this is giving Senate hearing. And they seemed to like that joke. And I felt like that was good footing to get off on and kind of show my personality, which turns out was something they were looking for in the job. I am an eccentric individual, and I really hope that you stick around my channel long enough to experience that. But I have been called delightfully eccentric, and I wear that as a badge of honor. And it turns out that I got that job. I didn't learn that day, but I got that job, and it has completely changed my life. And I've worked there for the last 14 months, and I truly feel that this could be the last job I ever have. And the peace that gives me is a peace I've never known. And I have to wonder, is it the stillness that I decided I was going to have in that time? Was that stillness what ended up getting me that job? Was it that quiet that I knew I deserved? Was it skipping the frantic downward spiral of a loop, circling the drain? Was skipping that part what made the difference? I don't know. I don't have a ton of answers. I have a boatload of questions. I'm always curious, and I always want to try and figure out, why did this work? Satsop never did what it was supposed to do. This tower behind me never powered a single home, but it's still here standing, and it's beautiful. And you're still here, and you're still going to be here. You're going to get through this. If you're in a plan right now that has failed, I promise you it's not the end. You've survived everything that you've been through up to now, and you will survive this. If you've stuck around this long, thank you so much. My name is Patrick, and welcome to my channel. I like exploring things, and that's really what you can expect from this channel. You can expect to work through topics that I don't see a ton of people talking about, and figuring out how we might be able to work through it together. I would really love to build community on this channel of support and understanding and empathy. This connection that is available to us is incredible, and I have benefited tremendously from some amazing YouTube channels that I've been watching for years. And I would like to give back. I would like to share some of my journey. I have countless stories. I have lived an absolutely crazy life, and I cannot believe that I am still standing, because I shouldn't be. And I cannot believe that I am still here. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining me on this journey, and I really look forward to seeing you more. Take care.